According to Russian President Vladimir Putin, the US dollar will inevitably be replaced by other currencies in the global economy. In recent months, Russia has pushed to de-dollarization plan.
At the 16th BRICS Summit in Kazan, Russia, in October 2024, President Vladimir Putin proposed the creation of the BRICS Bridge. It is a blockchain-based international payment system designed to serve as an alternative to the US-dominated SWIFT network and dollar system. China, alongside Russia and other BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has intensified efforts to reduce reliance on the US dollar by promoting alternative currencies and financial systems. We have already seen this. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, reported that the US dollar's share of global foreign exchange reserves declined to approximately 59% by mid-2024, down from over 70% 2 decades earlier. Concurrently, the Chinese currency yuan's share has increased. In this video, we will go through how China is dimming its dollar currency system. To understand this fully, let me start with the history of dollar currency. The US dollar's dominance began to take shape during World War I, when the United States emerged as a major global economic power. By the end of World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944 solidified the dollar's supremacy by establishing it as the world's primary reserve currency, pegged to gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. This system allowed other countries to peg their currencies to the dollar, which was seen as stable and reliable due to its convertibility into gold. However, in 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility into gold due to mounting inflationary pressures and increasing US debt. This marked the beginning of a fiat currency system, where the US dollar was no longer backed by gold, but by faith in the American economy and its government's ability to manage it effectively. Despite this shift, the dollar retained its dominance due to America's economic strength and its role as a global superpower. As of 2023, the US dollar still accounted for 59% of global foreign exchange reserves, according to data from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. This is a significant drop from its peak in the 1970s, when it accounted for over 85% of reserves. While still dominant, this decline reflects growing diversification efforts by central banks around the world. The euro is the second most held reserve currency, accounting for around 20% of global reserves. Other currencies, like the British pound, 4.9%, and Chinese yuan, 2.5%, make up much smaller shares. This data shows that the US dollar share has been gradually declining over time. In recent years, China has taken several calculated steps aimed at reducing its dependence on the US dollar and promoting alternatives that could eventually challenge its dominance. These efforts are part of a broader strategy to increase China's influence on the global stage while reducing its vulnerability to American economic power. One of China's most significant initiatives is the Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI, launched in 2013 by President Xi Jinping. The BRI is an ambitious infrastructure project that spans Asia, Africa, and Europe, with the goal of enhancing trade routes while simultaneously increasing China's geopolitical influence. Through BRI investments and loans, China has encouraged participating countries to use its currency, the yuan, instead of dollars for trade settlements. In addition to promoting yuan-based trade through bilateral agreements, China has sought to create alternative financial systems that bypass US-dominated institutions such as SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. For example, China has developed its own cross-border interbank payment system, which allows banks to clear cross-border yuan transactions without relying on SWIFT. This system provides an alternative for countries that wish to avoid potential sanctions or other forms of economic coercion from Washington. China's efforts are not limited to bilateral agreements or infrastructure projects, but extend into multilateral organizations such as BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Both groups have discussed creating alternative payment systems that reduce reliance on the US dollar. At a recent CO summit in Uzbekistan, members agreed on a roadmap for expanding trade in local currencies and developing alternative payment systems. These moves are designed not only to promote regional financial stability, but also to hedge against risks associated with US dollar hegemony. The rivalry between China and the United States over economic dominance is shaped by their respective leaders' visions for their countries' roles in global affairs. Xi Jinping, who has been China's paramount leader since 2012, has consistently emphasized his desire for China to play a more assertive role on the world stage. Under his leadership, China has pursued policies aimed at reshaping global governance structures in ways that reflect Chinese interests rather than those of Western powers. Xi's vision for China's future includes reducing dependence on foreign currencies like the US dollar, while promoting alternatives such as digital currencies issued by central banks. In 2023, China launched pilot programs for its digital yuan, which could further enhance its ability to bypass traditional financial systems dominated by Western institutions. Xi's push for yuan internationalization is not about replacing the US dollar outright, but rather about creating a multipolar financial system where multiple currencies, including the yuan, play significant roles. This strategy reflects China's broader geopolitical goals, reducing vulnerability to US-led sanctions or financial pressures while increasing its influence over global trade and finance. On the other hand, Donald Trump, during his presidency from 2017-2021, and again as a Republican president in 2024, has taken an aggressive stance toward protecting America's economic interests against perceived threats from China. Trump views maintaining American control over global finance as essential, not only for economic reasons, but also for national security purposes. In September 2024, amid growing concerns about de-dollarization efforts led by China. Before the election, Trump announced plans for even more drastic measures if re-elected president, imposing tariffs as high as 100% on goods from any country that abandons using dollars for international transactions. Trump's rhetoric underscores how seriously Washington takes challenges to its financial dominance and how far it might go in defending that position. Russia plays an important role in China's efforts to challenge US dollar dominance, due largely to their shared interest in reducing reliance on Western financial systems following sanctions imposed after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and intensified after its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. These sanctions have pushed Moscow closer toward Beijing. As a result, Russia and China are working together to build a new currency system. In conclusion, the global financial landscape is shifting, and the US dollar's dominance faces a growing challenge, with nations like China and Russia spearheading initiatives to reduce reliance on the dollar through alternative payment systems, blockchain technology, and multilateral agreements. A multipolar financial world may be emerging. The BRICS Bridge proposal, China's Belt and Road Initiative, and digital currencies represent concerted efforts to create financial pathways independent of American influence.